That couldn't have been more perfect. That was like exactly how I planned it for the first time.
I'll take your word for it. I haven't seen the
We've
entrance.
got Alex back. He's got a Wi-Fi booster. We are going to go all night with this stream because this may be the only chance. We're doing episode 94. We're going to go all the way to episode 100. Just bank them all right now.
Oh boy. We also have a special guest.
Special guest.
I know her as Genesis BOCNT. I don't know what you want to be named as.
Just
so
more letters. Just add more letters.
That's perfectly fine. Also, Angie works too, but of course, you'll plug in the channel is even better. That's awesome. I realize, like, right in YouTube, when you type in Genesis instead of your official YouTube coming up first, mine does. So
yeah, nice. It's good. It's good.
Oh.
All right, did it get shared around? Did we make sure that everyone got it? I haven't seen anything in the main server yet. Uh-oh. Behind the scenes, on stream.
Paste it here.
All right, so how's everyone's week been?
That's been pretty good. I just did cobwebbed up the house.
Cobwebbed up the house.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. That works.
Inside or outside? Oh,
the outside for Halloween.
Okay, I'm like, what?
We're all chatting.
You're there for a minute.
Oh.
My Halloween decoration stayed up for maybe all of 5 minutes before the kids just started tearing them down, and I had those little clings on the window.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I put them up. I started dinner, and before I know it, like, there's a big skeleton, and he's missing one eyeball. One leg is gone. Instead of like his hands, his feet are up there. I'm like, why do I even buy these things?
Well, see, you made the mistake of putting it up yourself. You gotta just give it to them and be like, put this up. It'll still come out terribly, but you didn't have to put any effort.
My kids decided to decorate on October 1st. So we were that house that was Halloween decorated before Thanksgiving. And I know, like, Thanksgiving, October, it's awkward for our American viewers, but it's a thing up here.
Yeah, Louis actually both kids actually had the day off of school because they had it as teacher in-service day. But I laughed because I looked at the calendar. I'm like, oh, well, we can celebrate like Canadian Thanksgiving then.
There you go. Nice.
That's fair.
Yeah, usually I decorate in September on Jordan's birthday. It's like part of his birthday present. I decorate for Halloween. So usually September 9th, we are that house. We decorate. But
I guess we should mention that you unfortunately are attached to Jordan Scheming Skeleton, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I have no words, really. Just no words.
Most of the time I don't either. It's, he'll just smile. He's like, you got me. Like, and you got me. Like, so I tease him. I'm like, why wasn't it until after we married that I didn't know that you played trading card games? Seriously, yeah. Magic came out after we were married. Like, was that conveniently hidden? He's like, yeah.
No, I think that's the go-to move for most of us. We don't share that part of our lives, and then once you can't get out, it's oh yeah, look at this. Skeletons, proverbial skeletons in the closet.
Yeah. Well, and then fast forward, 12 years later, and he comes home from work, and I'm on the living room floor sorting out all of my Genesis cards. And he's looking at me, comes up to me, whispers in my ear, he's like, you're a nerd.
Yep.
Yeah, yep. I tried to get done before you got home, but didn't happen.
I didn't realize that people didn't sort their cards or some people just don't choose to do that or make that a priority. But I was like, how do you build decks if you don't sort your cards out?
Yeah, I'm OCD, so it's everybody I'm sure has their own like algorithm to sorting, but I sorted them all by association and then alphabetically within each association. So I'm like, I really have some issues because he's like,
that's the right way to do it. That's actually by the card number. It should match it along that way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
now I don't necessarily think that's necessarily the best for deck building, because I think instead of doing the alphabetical, if you do it by chi, it's probably better for deck building. But it is the proper way that you're doing it, so you're good.
By
chi. There we go. Well,
You know, who needs chi? Jeff just puts 5 cheese in and done 50 of them. He counts to 50 and he's
He
good.
needs to know where those 5 cheese are.
Oh, okay, that's true.
you need chi if you attempt to do Coliseum of Fate. And then you sit there and trying to figure out, okay, how do I balance this? Like I have like the calculator in one window and like that in the other. So I'm trying to balance it out.
Nice. Jeff says his wife knew full on how nerdy he was because they used to play Zelda together.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, like that's not even. I played video games growing up. Like I had a Sega Genesis, I had an Atari, all that good stuff. So, and I even played Warcraft. Jordan was big into Warcraft.
Of course
And
he was.
Yeah, it drove me crazy. And I tried to play and I kept somehow dying, and he's trying to tell me how not to die. And like even one day when he was at work, I played with one of his friends so he could try and teach me how to play. And finally,
Yeah.
I'm like, I give up. I can't do it. I just keep dying and running into water, and I give up. But we started there, and you know,
Yeah, now
I
you're at
like video
cards.
games.
So I realize we're just doing a Jordan stream, so I guess we should move on.
Oh, he's everywhere. We can't ignore him. He's on Bone Zone. He's on here. He's on there.
I
He's
was
on
just saying,
everywhere.
literally right there.
Oh, is he?
Fine.
He's
Yeah,
actually
fine,
in the
Will.
room.
No, behind you.
Oh, there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's officially a Call of the Bones promo art now. It's no longer has anything to do with Scheming Skeleton.
But yeah, okay.
Anyways, what have we been playing?
Well, actually, now I gotta ask one question more about Jordan. Has Jordan made a Call to the Bones deck with a whole bunch of Call to the Bones promos? That's what I need to know. I need to know.
Well, and then like I'm going through, I have a binder of all like my promos and foils and that, and then so does he. And like he's flipping through, and I start laughing. I go, "Why do you have an entire page just of your cards?" He's like, "I don't know. I like the way it looks." It's an entire page.
Kev
C's here from Australia. How's it going, my friend?
All right, we can move on. What have we been playing? What deck you been playing, Angie?
I've been trying. I did Kasha for a while, and I still made some changes. I'm gonna try that again, but right now I'm building another one. I forget, did I say Nubia? Was that what I was building?
Nubia?
That's what you're building right now, yeah. You showed me anyways.
Yeah. So I'm trying to work on that and take into account all the suggestions you said. So I got to sit down maybe tomorrow. Like it was a ton of cards because I get hung up on themes and what I like versus what's necessarily a good card.
Right. But that's still I think Genesis allows for a lot of that too, though, right? Because you can play on a theme very easily and have a very just a fun time with that deck, right? So.
It does, but it also I don't think we've ever had this conversation. It matters based on what who your opponent is. If they're doing the same thing and having a fun deck, then it's good. But if they are more of a power gamer or going for a top tier deck, then the balance just doesn't match.
Right.
Yeah,
because it was the same thing with Kasha. Like I picked a few that she was in the artwork, but it was actually, I think it was Bite maybe, and I forget which champion is actually biting her.
Sorry, Angie, I just have to cut you off. I was just handed a white piece of paper here, and it looks like we have some breaking news. Very important. I don't mean to interrupt. We'll get back to your story as soon as we get through this very important white piece of paper with lots of writing on the back of this side. We have officially confirmed a venue for the championship. Woo!
Oh, yay!
So I asked a few questions. I said we need something juicy for the fans, right? I know we got Genesis, BOC, and T on, and we gotta make sure we have something at that same level. They're like, well, you can announce that we have a venue. I was like, yay, there we go. So then from there I went on to this whole like white piece of paper, breaking news. So location, because that's what really actually matters, is going to be in Toronto still. It is at what I believe is refer it to the RCC, which is the let me just pull it up here because it's actually not written on the piece of paper, which it should have been, which would have been better for the skit, but I didn't do that.
Literally, I blank white sheet of paper.
Yes. You don't show how the applesauce is made. Residence and Conference Center, Toronto, downtown on Cooperage Street. So I do have the Google Maps for that. Let me pull that up. Google Maps. Right. Residence and Conference Center, downtown. Google Maps right down there by Front Street. So we're back downtown. I think that's actually George Brown College, right?
Correct. Yeah.
No.
Is it on the residence or is it on the campus or no?
Campus.
I will be honest, I am not too sure. I have not seen the venue myself. I saw the last venue, but this one, Sid was sort of running around from venue to venue, trying to figure out which one.
I mean, from the picture on Google Maps, it looks very nice.
Yeah.
But it is downtown, so I'm sure hotels might be a little bit pricier, but I think it was mentioned that they're going to be looking at hopefully having some way to have some hotels or a block off or something, but with that information we haven't been given. Breaking news.
I can say we're still planning to do that.
Yeah.
When the emails came out, people were allowed to message. They were allowed to tell me if they wanted a hotel reservation or not.
Right.
Oh,
So I have those people.
Nice.
And maybe you didn't know that. Then you should be emailing me right now that you want a hotel room.
Yeah.
Not specifically you, Angie, but maybe you, Angie. I don't know.
I guess I'll have to check with said scheming skeleton to find out. Still waiting
Anyways,
on her.
thank you for my appeasing my little joke there. I'm not as good as Jeff with all the jokes and the stuffs like that, but I try. Or if you've seen any of Steve-O's latest streams, his commercials are just on. That's a different level. Someday I hope I can get to that level of polish on those commercials of his. But anyways, so we have a venue. It's near the Inglenook Community School, so kind of George Brown. Yeah, it's right across the street from George Brown campus on the one side. Right by the highway too. Yes, it's easy. There's definitely ease of access. Whether or not there's going to be ease of hotels or what the price point is down there. I know last time downtown we're a little bit more north, or a little bit further up the waterfront, but we'll see.
Well, still, that's awesome though that it's right near everything because even if you have to pay a little more, you can walk right there.
So Championship 2022 is back on the menu.
Yay!
I had thrown away my deck. I had taken it all apart. It's like, next year maybe we'll try again. But we've got a championship. Guess I better start practicing.
No, that's awesome.
Now back to speaking about practicing.
Yeah.
Back to our decks.
It's called a segue.
I know.
Did you write on those?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe Jordan does. I can see Jordan being a Segway guy too with his Crocs now. Just in his Crocs, just riding a Segway around campus, whatever he does for work. But
yeah. he would probably absolutely love a Segway if he could fit all his equipment on it. He'd be zooming all around.
So back to practicing.
So this week I was running a Kasha deck as well, much like Angie. I guess I never really. Don't think I talked about it. I made a whole bunch of decks just out of some boxes of J2 and just splashed in some Origin stuff. So I was just messing around. So this was the Guardian of Balance Drain deck. So I was running Malfeasances, Guardian of Balances. What are you laughing about over there?
Guardian Balance.
Underworld Knowledge. You're laughing at Guardian Balance. But every game, excluding some of them, the games that I won was when I had a lot of Guardian of Balances, and when I didn't have a lot of Guardian Balances, I didn't win.
Okay.
And checks out, pump control, still not great. Still not great. Whenever I drew pump control, I'm like, I wish this was any card. Any card that was any other card. It could have been Underworld Knowledge. It could have been my 3 cheese. It could have been anything else. And that was literally the main flaw with the deck. At the end of the day, I would be
it's so much effort to get the puppet control to work, and then at the end of the day it's like
I managed to pump control Longma,
okay,
but then I pump control Longma and they just turn around and all their summons that would have went at me just kills the long.
Just kills the
So
long.
I just took 8 life. I was essentially right. But at the same time, you have the puppet control. You gotta play it when you have the chance.
I guess.
It's a terrible cycle.
That's good. So we have, yes, and Angie, you've been practicing, and I hear Jordan's been cheating.
Yeah. I like to say I'm not a sore loser, but it seems like every time I lose, I accuse him of cheating. So you tell me.
Well, so now you
Makes
can
sense.
declare it true. It can be true now.
When
All
he
the other games were forfeit.
When he brings decks with right hooks to actual champion, like competitive circuits, then clearly he's been cheating. Yeah, clearly. Only makes sense. But
sure,
we do love you, Jordan, at a little bit.
Well, and like
Enough.
at one point, I just said I concede. He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "I'm down to 3 health. The 3 cards in my hand would draw me down to like -4 health. Like I got nothing. Like I'm done. Like why even try at that point?"
Yeah. Scheming Skeleton is a cheater. More at 11. Someone saw my breaking news. GIF. Yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
Alex thought it was dumb, and it worked. Anyways, I haven't been playing anything. I have the last time I played was with my secret training partner for the championship, who will remain secret. It's Alex. Because I couldn't make it to the stores. I was like, Alex, I haven't played in like 2 weeks. I need to keep up with my training, my regime of like playing once or twice a week. But
then he asked to play yesterday, and I stood him up.
Stood me up like hard. Like I was like waiting by the phone or the computer or the Discord, whatever reference you want. I was like, oh hey, just message me when you're free.
And I did. And you're like, I'm going to bed now.
So he apparently just wasn't free.
Yeah, it wasn't free. He said he was going to be, though. Lied.
We can talk about how salty you are about that if you want to.
I'm over it. I'm used to it. It's Alex. But we did have something interesting that we want to talk about. Do you want to get into our topic of the show?
Sure. Let's do it.
All right. So I proposed the question about looking at the champions, because we're going into the championship. Looking at the champions, we know some of them are stronger than others. We've seen some that have sort of risen the ranks of like being played a lot, and seen some that haven't. So I thought it'd be interesting to take a look at the champions, and specifically looking at if the champion were to come out today, and kind of picking at Alex's brain a little bit about like, what if the champion was coming out today? Would there be any differences? Would there be, has the game changed enough since its inception to where we are now that we can now say yes, this champion is very strong, or yes, this champion is very weak, or yes, this design could have been tweaked this way or that way. So are you game for that, Angie?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Perfect. That's why you're invited. Hopefully you said yes. Because if you didn't,
Great. End of stream. Goodbye.
That's what we're doing. All right.
Like, no, you're like, too bad.
We'll let our audiences know. We do not tell our guests anything that's going on in this live stream. We just bring them on, and then we start doing it.
Just throw them into the pit and see what happens.
Yeah. That makes it interesting.
All right. So I think I don't think we have to necessarily, we can kind of go through a few of the new ones if we want to, because there's a few that haven't seen play, but we can leave that maybe to the end.
Right.
But let's look at sort of kind of go through. So I have the champions up here. So how do we want to do this? We can kind of just go through by the cities, I guess, would be the easiest.
Sure. Just shout out a champion, Will.
All right. So let's start with the one that we all know and everyone's talking about, because it's been very strong from the beginning, is Nubia. Nubia is 20 health, 150 aura. We've seen those stats before on other champions, newer champions that have just come out. We have a swift attack, and we have the draw cards. So we know that Nubia is very strong, and the drawing cards is very strong. If Nubia were to be designed or were to come out today, what tweaks would there be? What do we think could be seen?
All right. So I think I've mentioned this one before. At least Wills, I know, heard it several times. And it would be Nubia draws an extra card at the end of the round rather than the start of the round. So this means that when you play a game, you don't start the game one card up of over your opponent. It's not until
on the first round.
First round. It's only the second round that you're 1 up, 2 up, and then you build to having a way advantage. But as it is right now, it's starting at game 1, you have an advantage. And then it just increases from there. So it really just would have slowed down that process. And then just in perception to the other casters, the other 150 aura, I don't necessarily understand why Nubia has the 20 health.
Okay.
And a lot of the other casters have the lower health. Because I consider her ability to be probably the best out of all the abilities.
Right.
So she should be, if she is the top tier, she should be the lowest tiered health at 18. I would not change her aura. I think her 150 aura is where she wants to be. Her goal was to be the essential spellcaster. Whether you build her that way, that's a completely different thing.
Right.
I think she'd be 150 aura. I think she should have been 18 health and draw at the end of the round. That would have been my changes.
Yeah, I think the 20 health, we now see the 20 health is higher than the other ones, right? Like we know, like, you know, we could even go to like Kendra next, right? Even that's the same time period. But yeah, I think I'm right there with you. The drawing the card at the end is interesting. I think that does sort of, I like what you're saying about how it would probably alleviate some of those things that, you know, starting with 7 cards versus 6. Yeah, the 150 aura, I wasn't expecting any like thing like that to change, because that's where the casters are, right? Like that's their stats.
Right.
Now, Angie, you've been playing Nubia.
Yeah.
Now, not necessarily with the best of luck,
Right.
but
Yeah.
but you're going to win the next game, as I've declared.
No pressure.
When you've lost, other than Jordan cheating, because we know that's the reason why you lost, what held you back when you were facing your opponents as Nubia?
I think it seemed like a lot. I wasn't building the right cards, or I didn't have the right quantity, because it seemed like then at the end, all of my good cards were on the bottom of the deck. So then I thought, okay, I think I'm adding too much variety of cards instead of focusing on like quantity of just a select, you know.
Now, I would say that Nubia you can have more quantity or more types of cards in the deck because of that draw. You get to see more cards, but that is interesting that your perspective was that you were just sort of needed to kind of hone it in a little bit.
Yeah, I think mainly in the 5G spot, like as Alex saw, like I had a whole list of cards, whereas after the fact, I'm like, yeah, maybe I should do a little less and just more quantity versus, selection.
Right.
Yeah.
Some are saying that the 20 health, if Nubia didn't have 20 health, they would be a lot weaker. And that's probably true, right? I think we've seen that with other ones. I think that's a fair statement.
I think if we reduce the health of any champion, they'd be a little weaker.
Yeah.
Wow. Set me up.
I like what you said about changing when you draw, but I agree. I like keeping her at 20 health, because even though it's more than most spellcasters, it's still not like the highest.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
And she is the top tier spellcaster at this point. All right, so same affiliations. Let's look at Raha.
Ooh, Raha's a hard one. I think if I were to change her, I think the only thing I could think about doing is looking at giving her more health. Like, actually, you can really go in. It's literally just in her base stats. Yeah. I don't think you can change her abilities in any way.
I think the abilities are good. I think I don't think we've actually seen a meta where we need that area range attack. But if it ever showed up, and we did, she just gets automatically played because of it. Like the ability is good. The abilities are good.
You could literally choose, I think, any of the 3 health or energy and pump her a little bit.
Yeah,
she's very low for a fighter in health. Because she's a fighter, she has low aura, but she was in Axon, which makes all her aura things cost so much. So she really couldn't do it. And then energy wise, she just had 1.
Right.
So I could see her up at 2 energy. I could see her with 2 more health. I could see her with anywhere from 10 to 20 more aura.
Because I guess our direct comparable would be Tashir, which is same health, a little bit less aura, but that 2 energy. And
Yeah.
I know different damages, different awareness,
Yeah,
but
different abilities technically.
but
I
yeah, that's
definitely
interesting.
like the energy reduction for sure.
Yeah, I think we've seen. I think a lot of people have really taken to the 2 energy reduction from Origins has really started to show that maybe we didn't give Fong enough chance. Speaking of Fong,
you don't want to talk about Kun? You abandoning the Kun?
We're going with the originals first.
Oh, just the original. Sorry, so I don't. All right. Speaking of Fong, I honestly don't know if I changed much about Fong.
It's hard to say, right?
It's really hard to say. Like, there's no direct, I think, flaw with Fong. She's got great health.
All right.
Her aura's low, but she's like a fighter.
Do you think the fire shield needed to cost energy?
And that I was gonna get to that. I was going down the card.
Okay.
But if there's anywhere, so speed up to will speed. It's okay. The only thing I think you can change is the fire shield.
The fire shield, yeah.
So I think you're right. I think you can just take away that energy cost at that point because it's not commonly used, but there's times where just like a Fong double moves and doesn't fire shield just because, right?
Right.
When they could, but it costs energy, so they don't think about it. But then their opponent goes, they don't move and they attack for one attack, right?
Right.
And it's like, why wouldn't Fong just automatically do a fire shield like ability?
Now, does that mean could we see like a 2 damage? Could we see further prevention? Because we don't have a lot of prevention based abilities. We have some like continuous, like Iblis has a continuous damage reduction.
Yeah.
But this idea of protection or prevention of damage as an ability on the card is definitely something that we've talked a lot about, that we don't play a lot or we don't see as much in the mainstay of the game, but here it is on an ability on the champion itself, right?
For sure. Yes, there could be design down the road.
Yeah, I've always liked the stats, and I've always enjoyed playing, but it's just so weird that maybe the card pool wasn't diverse enough maybe for Fong.
So Angie, you played Tashir over Fong. Why?
Yeah, well, the big thing is the energy reduction. Like, in thoughts of Tashir, like, I don't know, I really like the balance of the energy reduction, whereas constantly using up all my aura, because like sometimes I burn through it too fast.
Well, so just to help you out, Angie hasn't played all the champions, so for anybody listening, so they actually have the exact same stats. They both have the 2 energy reduction. Realistically, the difference
Tashir has less health.
Tashir has way less health, but what, 4 less?
3
less health. But it's really the far range versus the close range.
Far versus close.
Really the only difference between the two at the end of the day.
And it makes sense. If you're going to be close range, you're going to need some more health because you're going to be taking some more hits, right? So
Right.
But all right, Fong's brother, Long.
I love Long. And there is, I think, one thing I would do, and that's just bring the cure down 1 energy.
Really? You wouldn't put the 1 energy reduction on him, eh?
No. I think that's pushing him too far. He's not meant to be a fighter. That is not his goal. But the 4 energy cost makes it really hard for him to play any energy abilities at all.
I see what you're saying. So just reducing the cost when he plays the cure, allowing him to play a few more energy abilities without having the reduction overall everything. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, like I know anytime I play anything that has an energy reduction, like I'm hesitant because I'm like, I know I'm gonna discard the card I really wanted next turn. and sure enough, almost every time as I'm doing, I'm like, oh man, there it is. Like,
yeah, I know that's definitely a thing, but I guess maybe I've played long enough where it's just like, okay, well, I guess I'll get the next one that comes around, but maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm playing a lot of cards that are the same. I don't know, but That is
And that
that
probably goes back to my quantity of the cards
quantity
too.
for,
Yes. Yeah. If you have less of an important card and then it gets milled over, yeah, and then you're not getting it. It's gone.
Yeah, like almost every time it's like a bolt shot, or I'm like, oh, great.
It would be
If
better
you're in the chat, Angie is looking for bolt shots. I don't know if you found them yet. I'm gonna just go.
I found one. I found one.
All right, so our next high health, I guess we'll go to Malik.
Malik. So I am going to probably say I would not change anything on Malik.
That's
I
interesting.
think I understand that he may not be the strongest. He may never be the strongest. But there is, if you forced me to, I'd give him the 2 energy. But otherwise, I don't think I'd change anything.
Yeah, I've always liked him as the big health, right? Using the health or having that big body to get through, and then just finding the right summon to either sit behind him or something with blitz, right? Yeah, I mean, Malik has been a lot of fun. It's just when it comes to competitive and sort of that higher echelon of competitive decks, he just either he needs to have a good hand, and sometimes he just can't, or he just won't. He doesn't have the same ability to have the thoughts at the right time. That's what I've always found, and it just, regardless of the build, it's always like, oh, I could use this now and I need this later, and it's like I just have the wrong cards at the wrong time. But
yeah, that's fair. I agree. That's it.
Angie, have you tried any Malik decks or?
I only did once against Darren, funny enough.
Oh, at the Origins, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't remember what it was exactly.
Let's tell everybody know we invited Angie down for Origins. Jordan tagged along.
Yeah,
but we invited Angie down to help us with the booth.
And then he stole my loofah.
He was lots of help. Jordan lingered about, but Angie was a great help.
I walked to the bathroom like, why is there a loofah here? This is the weirdest hotel.
No, the story is that Jordan stole it.
Well, and then
Ruining
when
my
we
story.
go to South Carolina, we share an Airbnb with Assad and his wife, and Joji and his son. And I go to open up the vanity in the bathroom, and there's a loofah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm being haunted by this thing. Like, it's following me around.
All right, Idris.
All right. So you were asking about this. You're like, would Idris lose her giant fireball thing? No, I wouldn't. I would not be. If I believe Idris is too strong, I would just be looking at reducing the aura a little bit. But Idris is actually in a weird spot. Idris was once again designed to be a spellcaster, but plays way better as a summoner.
Yeah.
Because she can just attack from the back line, and summons go forward to protect her. At the end of the day, it's just that the summon pool is realistically the strongest in Thymos.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily the champions the way the champions design.
So I would reduce her aura very slightly, maybe 10 or less.
Yeah, the 115. Maybe 24 health, or just keep it at 25.
I don't know if I cut out there or not, but
you said reduce it by 10.
That was about it.
I think I'm roboting out now. Yeah.
Oh no. Where's the get a second Wi-Fi booster? We need 2. Hopefully it comes back. So yeah, you said drop it by 10, the aura. And I mentioned, what about the health? Do you think you take the health down at all or no?
I don't think so. At the end of the day, she ends up winning because she just bursts people down too quickly. So I'd knock out the aura just that
put some pressure on that ability to do that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It would be interesting to lessen her life too, though. Like, not by a ton, but just a little bit, like maybe down to 20.
Yeah. I mean,
not a ton. 20.
It is interesting. Yeah, it's interesting because, a lot of people do complain about or feel the pressure because of the 2 fire damage from the fireball. But you know, maybe it's not necessarily that. It's more the fact that yes, the fireball can come down, and there's really no pressure on the aura pool. So then, yeah, she plays summons on top of that, right? As you sort of mentioned. So, all right, Sahas, Kendra.
We just talked about how roboting out, aren't I?
We'll power through. We're powering through.
It just does this 2 damage from anywhere on the board, and it costs her 5 aura. Kendra needs to be right in front of you. It's going to cost her 10 aura to do the 2 damage. She obviously gets this big boost of the discard too.
Right.
But I think just to bring her in line with that, I would bring her cost from 10 aura to 5 aura. Because if you've played her, once you've done 1 or 2 of these, you're like out of aura.
Yeah.
Because you have to protect yourself for so much, right? You have to leave so much available either for chrono walkers or, you know, maybe card draw or something. But I don't know. I've tried a few Kendra decks and I've enjoyed, you know, trying to play around that idea of discard, and, you know, maybe some of the pieces aren't there yet. It could come around the corner, but who knows? But I mean, the 150 aura has always been the focal point, right? If I'm in these colors, the 150 aura and that ability, like, and just having that much of a pool allows you to do a lot with, you know, with summons and other things like that. Now that we have Bazin, though, I feel like very similar stats, more of the summoner ability than the discarding ability. So that's why I just tend to go towards Bazin for that, as someone who likes to play summons. So, have you tried Kendra at all, Angie?
No, I know I had a few champions out, and I was trying to decide who I wanted to build a deck for.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna maybe try to build 2 or 3 if I have enough cards for it.
Right.
Because I just had a hard time kind of narrowing it down. But no, I haven't.
You just don't play. I just don't play Kendra because I feel bad knocking the opponent out of their ability to really play the game. Yeah, she's the big meanie of the, like, if you can discard your opponent out to 0 cards and just sort of win by chipping away, that is very oppressive, but it takes a lot of effort to get to that point, at least from my experience. So Kendra's counterpart at that time was Rain.
I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe just give Rain hard to say. A little bit more health, but a little more aura. That's really the only thing you can do to give her a little bit more of a boost.
Everything else, I think Rain is also one of those champions. It's just she embodies what she is. Like, she's that glass cannon, that assassin type. Like, that it's very much like, I am fragile, but I can hit hard. And I think Warp has done wonders for people playing Rain. So
Yeah, I agree. The first deck I built was a Rain deck, and I just enjoyed every part of it, except I had to tweak it a little bit because Jordan helped me build the deck, and it was like
that's why you had to tweak it.
Well, it was like a 1-turn kill type of deck.
Jordan,
like I can't do that. No, like I have to balance it, because I think I kept ending up with 0 cards in my hand, and I'm like, this isn't working out. I need to change it up. But overall, I really enjoyed Rain.
Yeah, people are saying, 20 health would probably, I think 20 health would make her very good. So it's amazing how, like, from what I understand, I don't understand most of it, but from what I understand is that the slightest tweaks can really change. From Future League, we see like 1 health here or 5 aura here. Sometimes that is like the breaking point for some of these champions, which is really interesting to see. So we'll stay in these colors just for the 4 before Origins. So Core, any thoughts on Core? I
love
like
Core. Yeah. I think his stats are perfect. Yeah. There was something about Neurum. I wish you could Neurum a champion.
Oh, Mobius?
Mobius. Sorry, I wish you could Mobius a champion.
Kill target someone with 1 health in your awareness, draw a card, or kill or yeah.
Kill
Yeah.
champion with it. You know, there's no benefit because the champion's dead. But you want that, you know, that flair. I killed you with a Mobius.
Yes. Yes. Because the champion would have to be at 1 health at this point, which means like yeah. That is funny.
Yeah.
What about Erica? Another 150 low health.
Oof. Erica's a weird one. You play Erica a lot. You like Erica.
I
remember for like the first championship, you were like, I'm gonna do Erica. I'm gonna do Erica. And you know you didn't do it.
I think it's always what I do is like, oh, okay, any circuit's okay. This is the circuit. I'm gonna play Erica. I'm gonna showcase Erica. But every time it's like all you need is that one deck that pulls 18 damage and you don't have any way to avoid it or get around it at the right time, and it's like you're so close to death. Like at least like Rain is so close to death, but at least she can or they can swing and hit hard on the way out. Erica's like, I'm dead. Save me, cats. But I don't know.
I don't know if I change anything in Erica.
So I would almost take the Alta stats. I know
You
they
go
probably
for
wouldn't
lower
work.
aura?
Though I'd go down some aura and up some health just to give, but I know that you have access to a summon, you know, pretty much as many of them as you want, so that is pretty powerful if you think about deck size and how these are coming out with not affecting your deck size. Like I understand that, but yeah, if you start looking at all the 150 champions and then Nubia is at 20 health, and it's just like, man, if any of these were at 20 health, they would be like right up there too, I think. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I do agree. Like I like it seems like 18 is a little too low on a lot of them.
But I mean, it forces you to think about, okay, well, if I have 18, I need to dedicate, you know, a subsection of my deck to protecting my health total. And I think that's where Erica really shines, is when you can protect the pool of health in some way. Erica has 150 aura. That means you can do a lot.
Right.
All right, so next we have Odara, who recently made waves at a circuit, which is odd, but oh no. I lost all my champions. There we go. Oh no. Causing a fate, work with me here. There we go. Odara.
Choose any stat, raise it up.
Just any of the three.
Any of them, just give her anything.
That's fair. I would be inclined. So I'm not sure if the spur needs your summon to lose 2 health. I know that it keeps it in balance, but
I'd bring it down to 1. I'd bring it down to 1 HP for the spur.
It's just so many times when you want to spur and it's like, oh, I'm already at 2 or less health. Like I can't spur again, right?
Yeah, agree.
So, but that's probably more on a future league thing than a design thing. But and then Kun.
Oh, I don't think Kun should have flying. I don't care that you put wings on the art or on the character. Dash still, I think you can represent that the person moves fast because they have wings with just dash.
Yeah, that's fair. Dash and flight has definitely been a combo.
That's literally it for me. I think the stats are really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you want flight, put it.
Yeah.
There's a card already. Put it in the deck.
That's fair. Ben, dash should be trigger. Yeah, that came out of Future League. So dash being trigger, and same with Nubia's immediate the draw being triggers. Those became huge issues for those champions because you could just surround them, and then once they trigger on their turn, all your summons can attack before they get a chance to move. Yeah, and then so I think, you know, looking at the newer ones, I think we've sort of seen a lot of them are starting to see play, and as we get more comfortable with the Origin card pool, I've pretty much heard everyone has played sort of every champion. It's just a matter of where they're playing it, if it's just for fun or if it's competitive. The only one that I hear very little playing is Minot, although some people have been enjoying, and then Sarah.
Yeah, I agree. Well, what about Shun?
And Shun. Oh yeah, sorry, Shun too. Yeah, I forgot about Shun. Everyone forgets about Shun. So Shun, I can say that Shun in Future League was very, very powerful. With its initial version of Shun was very strong, and then it was sort of like got tweaked, and then it still felt very strong, but maybe it's just a smaller card pool. I think is really where I'm at.
Well, and when I was getting ready to build,
Shun got buffed, right?
Oh, Alex, your internet.
Well, right before I did the Nubia deck, I actually considered Minot for a little bit because I really like the Ice Wall.
Mm-hmm.
But I was debating again on the 4 energy to use it because I'm like, well, am I gonna discard a bunch of cards that I really wanted? So
yes. Yeah, the Minot has I was hard on Minot in Future League just because of there was other cards, and we don't have all the champions that were in Future League at that time. There were some other ones that we were playing with as well, because that's sort of how Future League works, right?
Right.
And Minot always just seemed to be the worst option. But now looking at some of the things that we're dealing with in as far as like competitive decks go, that 24 health is super important, I think. And if you compare Minot to like say a Raha instead of comparing to the Nubia, because when you compare to the Nubia, yes, right, extra cards, more aura, all this stuff, it's hard to make that comparison. But if you compare Minot to Raha, then you can sort of see, ooh, maybe this is where Minot is, the range sort of fighter with a bunch of aura to back her up. So.
Right. Well, I like an energy reduction, but I think that would make her like way too powerful because, then like if she had 1 or 2 energy reduction, that's like, okay, Ice Wall.
Right. I think, I think what we've learned is that like the health, the aura, and the energy reduction, they are tied together. So if one goes up, something has to come down, kind of thing. And it's sort of like, again, we don't know, Alex knows, but we don't know how it all those adjustments get made, but it seems that there's definitely a push and pull with stats.
Right.
Well, you guys want to know the secret? There's a dartboard, and I take a dart, and whatever number it lands on, that's the stat for the champion.
It's the same way how your internet works. Your internet just decides, really? I'm going to work or I'm not.
So is either going to be robot Alex or Alex?
Yeah. And then Sarah is it's the 150 aura, but maybe it's just the. I know a lot of people who are enjoying Sarah, and they have Sarah decks, and they just enjoy playing it. But more on that competitive side, again, the 18 health, but maybe we're not giving Sarah enough of a shot. I don't know.
I'll try to speak, but I'm probably robot. Am I robot?
The more time you spend asking if you're a robot, the less time you have to actually speak.
I know personally about Sarah, I really like, her ability. I know I think it was Kasha that had it too, where anybody in your awareness loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. So I like that, and a lot of times I was too nervous to get too close to actually gain that life.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that ability if I remember and get brave enough to do that.
Yes, Drain is very powerful. Drain is very strong as well, but you kind of have to be comfortable with some risk, kind of getting in close to try to get that Drain off. Yeah,
she is the only Swift Drain.
She is. Swift Drain is, it's definitely something we don't see. I don't think we don't see any Swift Drain. So maybe we're sleeping on Sarah. Who knows? Maybe there's something there. And then the other ones we've seen a lot of people play, right? Like we've seen a lot of Kareem, we've seen a lot of Kato, we've seen a lot of Essa, we've seen a lot of Alta, we've seen a lot of Tashir, a lot of Bazin, Iblis, as we know, is very strong. Definitely goes against a lot of the meta, sort of the bursty damage style decks. Iblis can really mess up their day. But again, I think Phage, we're just that introduction to Phage, we just don't know really where that power lies. And as we see more Phage cards come out, I think our Phage champions will get more of a shot. But did I miss any?
No, I think you got him.
Okay. Yeah, you guys were talking about.
You're good. Oni. You missed Oni.
Oni. Jeez. Would you do anything? All right, you brought it up. A monocolored, so only one color plus white, or plus Jalara. Would you change or have Oni come back?
So I'd change nothing, and I'd make 4 other champions at the same power level as Oni for the other colors.
There. Hey, if it was a cycle of champions that were monocolored, then yeah, you could have a monocolored event. Give Oni a 2 swift is broken. Red Kuba pool is pretty hot now. Yeah. I would up Oni's chi limit to 275. That's interesting. Do you ever think we'll see a chi limit change, or do you think that's for sort of a structure of the game? Who knows?
Who knows?
I don't want to throw more things at people, but like, yeah, I guess if you change the chi, if you had to build a deck for one format at 250 and then another format was this, but I guess we kind of do that with draft and sealed, though, don't we?
I do like that, but like you said, it gets hard once you get into championships and next. It's like, all right, which one are we gonna allow?
Right. Right. Well, that was interesting. I think the more champions we see, there's a lot of subtlety. There's a lot of ways that the champion can change. And again, we're just sort of looking at like if a champion were to come out now, how have things changed? And it sounds like a lot of things are have stayed a lot of things have stayed the same as far as like, okay, if you have high aura, you have lower health, or if you have a high energy reduction, then you have lower aura, those types of changes. So that's definitely interesting to see where the game goes. I did want to throw up the image for the championship again. So we have our new banner from, I can't quite remember last year's, but here we do have Kun and Sarah on the banner. And we have Satir. Hey, we didn't talk about Satir.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, I guess we'll never know. I like Satir. One of my favorites for sure. And definitely an interesting build as far as like a summoner build. But we didn't really talk about Kato and Kareen much because, I mean, they are widely played and people definitely enjoy them and like them a lot. So I think they are, yeah, we're kind of focusing on the older ones and the ones that are being less played. Satir 1 draft on Saturday. Nice. That'd be pretty good. That'd probably be an interesting, either really good chaos pulls or really good Bellum pulls, I would guess.
Why not both?
Or both. Then we have Minot with the Tsunami from how do you pronounce the artist's name again? The name's escaping me now.
Is that Halil?
Halil.
I think it was Halil.
Yeah. So we have his rendition of Tsunami on the middle there. We have Longma on one side. We have Death Eater, Jordan. Death Eater coming out of Sarah's head, and the Emergent Worm also on there as well. So really cool banner for the championship 2022. This is on the website. Also, I forgot I need to grab another image. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, didn't they want you to show the logo?
shh, I'm getting there. All right, there is a new logo for the championship, and I'm just grabbing it right now. Here we go.
While you're doing that, I'll give a shout out. 6 days left to get your Future League to Sheer promo. If you're not part of Future League, or if you are part of Future League, there's a unique promo. And there's only 6 days left to get it. All you gotta do is test 10 cards and put in a report. Angie, have you done any Future League testing with Jordan yet?
I had big hopes of, like, I even saved them on my desktop, and I was going to print them out to like crop them to size and actually put them in the sleeve, like to where it actually was the right size. But somewhere along the line, I got offered a substitute teaching job at the kids' school, and going through all that with the Board of Education. Then I get on the computer, I'm like, oh yeah, there was that thing that I was going to do. So hopefully soon.
Fair enough.
But again, with the OCD, if I'm gonna do it, it's got to fit in a sleeve, and everything has to be perfect.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I love the whole concept of Future League. It's awesome.
All right, have you figured it out yet? There, Will.
No, technical difficulties. Keep vamping.
All right.
With your crappy
I'll
internet.
check. Oh, it's my robot body right now.
1 second.
I'll go through the other thing. Steel Furs deck building contests. I don't really have all the rules, but I think it's you create a deck using territorial Bala. That's the only requirement, and then you tag him on Twitter or the fan Discord for a chance to get one of his custom Bala promos.
Nice. When's that?
I believe it's till the end of the month. So same thing. You got 6 days left. All you gotta do is make a deck. On Coliseum of Fate, I think. All right, I guess it could be anywhere. You can do it in person. You can do it paper. You just gotta post
End
it.
of the month. Yep.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I'm a judge for that. So you're all screwed.
No pressure at all.
Well, see, I don't know, Angie, if you were around when I had to judge decks before. I was always cruel to everybody. Equally cruel to everybody. So they have an advantage this time on this contest, because normally I would complain and not give a win to anybody who didn't give me a sideboard, but it wasn't a requirement for a forethoughts in the task. So I'll let them slide this time.
So in terms of brutal honesty, I picked the right person to judge my deck.
Yes. Yeah.
That's good to know. Yeah, like you're like, I'd get rid of this and I'd get rid of that. I'm like, oh man, I really did a bad job.
No, you're fine. I left a few Will cards in there that Will likes.
Oh well, there we go.
What are you talking about? Will cards
Will
that
cards.
Will likes.
There's Will cards, angels embraces, those types of cards.
Oh yeah.
But
I'm gonna need a complete list of will cards.
so the Will list, for people who don't know, is cards that Will likes, but I would never put in the deck.
And let me just say exactly what's the tone behind that?
The tone is Will's a terrible deck builder. We all know this.
Thank you. Finally, someone has said it. Go find someone else to build your decks. All right, I finally figured out, because technology works. Days of Beckoning Toronto 2022. We have a new logo. We have a silhouetted coon in the back watching over the championship. I believe the story here is that potentially this is going to be the Days of Beckoning has stuck around and is going to be potentially the name going forward, which is really cool. And the champion silhouette will potentially change if Kun doesn't win again.
Yeah.
And that whichever champion wins the year prior, it kind of gets an update that way, which is pretty cool. And there's another version, but it took me so long to get this one up. I'm not even going to bother trying to get the other one.
You get that next week.
Oh no. No. But yeah, Days of Beckoning. Awesome name.
Yeah, I love it.
If that's a graphic for merch, please give me a black hoodie with that. All right, Joey, if you're listening, black hoodie for Sid Williams with Kun on it because he wants it, I guess.
Okay. Fair enough.
Oh, Ben also wants a black hoodie. Now chat's just blowing up about who wants a black hoodie. We have to make sure though that the hoodie is, what is it? I'll yell it. Yeah. Make sure that the hoodie is embroidered and dyed and woven because those are very important things to some people. So.
Okay.
Embroidery is definitely a good quality, that's for sure.
All right, we are coming to our end of our time. Any final statements?
When you're not on, Alex, we just go to whenever the conversation's over. No one's on a stopwatch.
I got meetings after this. I got meetings.
Okay. You're good luck with those meetings.
That explains it a little bit better then, because I was on your guys' YouTube page and I was like, I wonder how long they usually last. And some's an hour, one's an hour and a half. So I'm like, well, somewhere in between that then.
Well, everybody can come back next week for an hour and a half video. Because I won't be here.
Oh no, what am I going to do next week?
Especially since you ended with 100 tonight, right?
Yeah, it's going to be, If you're not sure, we're actually streaming all the next 100 episodes right here, or up to 100, or 94. No. Alex's internet has behaved well for the most part until someone else jumped on. Unless he's like, I swear, someone's got to be like using your server or your address or IP for like something heavy because I don't know, it's always you. It'd be hilarious if it was me and it's just, but and not you at all. I'm blaming you. So,
I can see firsthand if you have kids streaming off of any device, that's guaranteed part of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's always our problem.
True.
I also hear that World of Warcraft takes a lot of your internet too.
There's a kid on YouTube upstairs. There's an old guy on World of Warcraft over there.
What? Jordan's playing World of Warcraft right now? Jeez.
Yeah, in our house, it's usually our daughter is on Blippi and our son is watching anything he can find on Minecraft.
My son is on Minecraft now, and my daughter's on, what's it called? Roblox.
Oh, yeah.
Roblox or something. I don't know.
It's Roblox. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, got it? Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, our son was convinced forever that it was road blocks. And then finally it took getting him a backpack for him to agree that it's not road block.
They can be stubborn.
Yeah.
Anyways, few more announcements. We have Saturday night newbie nights. If anyone is wanting to join in and learn the game with some judges from Genesis learning how to play. Okay, my kids separate internet. That's probably smart.
Friday night Future League. Will, are you hosting it this week?
Friday night Future League is still always on. One of us will be hosting.
All right.
I should be able to.
I hear what you're saying. Angie, you're hosting this week. Just so you know. One of us.
Great.
So, yeah, you're
that should be interesting.
No, unfortunately, some of our Genesis community members have to tear down their house for flooding and other wetness. I just decided to tear down my house because I wanted to. So, so that started last week, and now everything is chaotic and a mess. So I was unable to make my my obligations. Oops.
I completely understand that because we have an old house that was built in the 50s, and one day Jordan's just like, I wonder what's behind this wall, and he took a sledgehammer to it. And a 6-month-old baby, and I'm trying to cover everything up. I'm like, well, we're tearing down a wall now.
Yeah. We waited a few years till the babies had grown up a little bit, and now we're tearing down the wall. And the wall is down and the supports are back in. So now it's fixing all the holes that were left over. So, and then on to the kitchen. So just a review announcements. So we had the Friday night Future League. We have Saturday night Newbie Night. We have other various events on Geo. Hopefully Kenny's out there fixing Geo right now. Power to you, Kenny. We also announced tonight, if you're just showing a little bit late, We did get a venue for the championship. It is on, so you can build your decks again, get practicing, start playing with the best option for you. It is going to be downtown Toronto, same time, or at least the time hasn't changed as far as I've been told. It is down by George Brown College at the RCC, so the Residence and something center. I can't remember the second C. It is the Residence and Conference Center, RCC, Toronto downtown.
Now, conference does make sense.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like a great venue. Looks like it's going to be hopefully, enough space for all of us. And I'm just excited that it's back on and that we're going to be able to do the Days of Beckoning in Toronto. Oh, and finally, sorry, I totally missed the whole thing, but we did get HCG has hired somebody new.
Oh yeah, we did.
We did miss that. So yeah, we have Lucas who's starting for part of the marketing group and team, and going to have a lot of experience with Roll20. And we're all very excited to see what happens with this new hire and how he gets utilized. So we have Kenny and we have Lucas now joining the team. So it sounds like there's a lot of growth growth in specific areas. That's how we'll say that.
It's definitely exciting to look at his background and see what he might bring to the table for sure.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully that helps Joey out with all the stuff, because I'm sure running, Joey's own career and job and life is getting a little more crazy now that with his announcement. Shout out and congratulations to Joey. And then trying to also do a TCG marketing on top of that when, everything's blowing up and going crazy in the TCG world. So
yeah, for sure.
Is that the same venue as last year? No, it's not.
It is not. All right, you guys try and drag this on for an hour and a half here. I'm calling it. I'm cutting the show right here. Thank you all for joining us. No more announcements from Will.
I'm just waiting to see if your internet cuts out. That's where we end it. When your internet dies, that's where it's done. One of these days, guys, we'll do a 2-hour stream, but that's not tonight. All right. Bye, everybody. Angie, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
You're the better half of the Schemy Skeleton crew, and we appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Genesis, BOC, and T will do, but that works.
It's all right. Yeah, because you have your own marketing.
Yeah, got to throw it in there.
I'm just dragging this out now for Alex, just to really really push him for his next meeting. All right, bye everybody.